Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's not home at the moment, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. It's after hump day. It's almost the weekend. It snowed yesterday. That's where my mood's at. It snowed yesterday. But tonight we are eating just a little bit. I'm having an old piece of pizza, reheated, some pretzels, my Diet Pepsi, and a vape for in between times. I'm gonna try these glasses. We're gonna see if I'm all glare. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. So we'll just leave them as is. Annie, hello. It begins. You're first. There's another kitty. The two of them have been kind of following me around. Hey, sweetie pie. Which is nice for a change. Because they usually hate me. Oscar's a little closer to me now than Bandit was. But he just wants his butt scratched. And if you do that, he'll be cute. Right? You'll be cute for a price. I think it's most animals, really. You just had your supper. Did you have anything good? Because we're just doing leftovers here. We're just going easy breezy. It was a long day. It was a long week. So, all the better. Hey, Shauna, how are you? Just settling in. Oscar wants to get in the closet. Hold on. Don't do that. Hey! Don't do that. If he goes in there, he'll be stuck in the back. Fried egg, cheese, nuts, and a Lara bar. That's what it was looking like here. I mean, I was going through the fridge. I'm like, well, there's old pizza. I have pretzels. I don't want to make a sandwich. We don't have bread. I didn't want to cook anything, and soup didn't really sound. So I'm just, yeah. Long day and a long week. It was. Last couple have been. Well, the days are like longer now because we are, up to that time of year. So we have a good 12 hours of light, but it's still cold a little bit, still windy a little bit. We had so much snow yesterday for this time of year. Unpredicted snow. All of a sudden, the flakes just started to stick. So there we go with that. But otherwise, it's same weather as everybody else. But I was surprised how much it snowed. I saw some flurries yesterday morning at a doctor's appointment, and it's like up kind of on a hilly area. So I saw some there, and I thought, well, I'm up, elevated. Of course, there's going to be some snow if it's this cold. So I go back to the office for the rest of the day, and I look out the window, and these big flakes that are like this big. Supposed to get weather this weekend. That's what I saw. I kept getting alerts on my computer that we were getting weather going into next week, the Sunday or Monday, some sort of something. I don't know. But this time of year in this part of the country anymore, we can go from having that snow, it would be 75 to 80 degrees by the end of the week. Like, it changes up in a sort of uncomfortable way. I was like, when I was a kid, we had seasons. It used to transition, it seemed like, between one and the other. Now it just sort of goes fast. But yeah, I'm hoping, we just saw the last snow. It's going to dip back into the 20s over the weekend, so we could get some more if it's wet. And we'll see. But this time of year, it doesn't, there's no snow pack. Like, if it snows, it's going to be so warm within a few days, it's just going to melt anyway. So it's not going to be a big deal. But otherwise, all's quiet in the neighborhood. I don't know if anybody who's in their own neighborhood or communities or high-rise or whatever you're in. There's an app called Nextdoor, I think, or something. I don't have the app, but I have the web version. And it shows you can look nearby and see who's in your neighborhood, things that are for sale, people posting for jobs, lost animals, stuff like that. So I look on there, and I see that there is a lost kitty 1 block over, 1.5 blocks over. So, hey, Irene. And so I'm like, oh, poor kitty. What if it was me? I'd feel terrible. What can I do? So just keep an eye out is the best you can do. So I'm at work, and I'm in the back looking out my back windows. I'm on the third floor office, so I'm looking down, and then all of a sudden I see a cat. And I see a cat run from a roof to this, and it looked just like him. And it responded to little domestic kitty shit, like, hey, pumpkin, and it stopped. So, Linda, hello. Sandra, hello. So, I didn't get to chase him down. In the description, it said that he might bite you if you try to pick him up. So, and I couldn't get that close to him anyway. But, I keep an eye on there for stuff in the other areas, like lost dogs. I don't have dogs, but, I'm no superhero. I just meant well. A lot of people who mean well do nothing and accomplish nothing. But if I see him again, I might. I posted to their comment and said, I just saw what I thought was your cat. And I don't work far from where this person lost it. I'm like, I'm within 3 blocks of you, and I swear I just saw your cat. I gave him the time, I gave him the address. Rest of it's on them. I don't know how I'd feel if the cat's left. I'd be hysterical. Absolutely hysterical, I think, if the cats decided to up and get out. Only way one of our cats is getting out is if somebody makes a stupid mistake. So, guarding against that. Hey, Jill. Ah, yes, spring has sprung. The wink and the nudge to milk tea, which I didn't realize till we put it up, is like practically identical. So, he was a stray. That's how I got my first kitty. Oscar just came into the yard and started following Mark around, and that was it. Bandit we went to the shelter and got. And we thought he had FIV when we got him because he was in the disabled kitties wing in segregation. And we've taken him to the vet, obviously, a number of times since then. And they tested him 2 or 3 times within one visit. And they're like, he doesn't have it. So he was unnecessarily segregated at Griffin Pond Animal Shelter I wish I give the address. They're an okay shelter. They're not bad. They have their reputation locally, but, So, kitty. And they're getting up there. They're due for shots again, too. So they have to go. That's the big part of pet ownership that Mark does. He'll, get them into the carriers and take them to the vet. I'll do boxes. I'll do feedings. I'll flip a box, bleach it and throw it in the sink and all that, whatever you'd have to do with it. But he handles the bigger stuff like that. I'm just not as confident taking 1 or 2 animals with me into it. I wouldn't know what to do. I would be unnecessarily panicked. We'll talk about that in a minute. So goes. But our boys are good. You can hear, they come and sit here a lot, actually. I don't know if it's just because they want to have someone to sit, but compromise is what makes a mature relationship work. I very much agree. Very, very much agree. And anything to get me out of having to take them to the vet, all the better. So, like I said, I'll do all the other kitty stuff. Oscar doesn't need brushed or groomed. Neither of them need much help with anything. Oscar sheds like crazy. Every black thing I own is covered in white fur. Bandit will have a fur ball here and there because he takes care of himself pretty well and he's a long hair. So, Mark will brush him as needed, or certain times of year, or if, he goes to the litter box and he doesn't clean up all the way. He's getting a little older, and you have to brush the fur to get the out, So, hello. Kitty glitter, exactly. That's a great way to that's a good way to put that. So, hey Jay, what's up? So, the babies. I didn't realize how many other people locally in my few block area had so many pets and had so many apartments to rent. Me too, Jay. I'm glad tomorrow's Friday too. I will be working from home, and it's a short day for me. So I just have to be lucid between 9 and 11:30 and able to work, but I don't have to be dressed for it. I don't have to be there for it. So it's like a throwback to COVID times to work from home. There's really no reason for me to anymore, unless it's a matter of convenience or something's going on at home that I'm like, yo, I can't leave the house. So, and work is pretty accommodating with that kind of stuff. So Monday, Tuesday off, there you go. With the long weekend, you come back, week's already half over. I love it. Love it, love it. I was tempted to take a day off next week, but it's not even April yet. Next week, it's still the longest March of my life. It was like, this feels as long as January felt. So it just keeps going and going and going and going. Dog neighborhood. We had one upstairs. Our upstairs neighbor had Charlie. Charlie was a big, scary black dog who was not friendly to anyone but the owner. Didn't bite or anything like that. And Charlie was probably 7 or 8 years old, maybe. And the upstairs neighbor would take him out for a walk, a few times a day, whatever. And he took him out for a walk to the end of the block, and something happened. Charlie got really tired and laid down. And then it was hard to get him to get up and moving. And by the time he died, same day. And they didn't know what, they didn't know why, whatever. So, unfortunately, he was like his go-to animal. He wasn't officially an emotional support animal, but most animals are by default. They fall into that role. And so he's gotten birds since. It's not quite the same as a large dog. So, yeah, he was a good boy. He would just sneeze at me. He never had any problems. Oh, the poor owner. The poor owner. I mean, he was devastated. I was walking to work, and we're not close like that. Okay, and he's a little odd, which is fine. I'm a little odd, too. I'm walking to work, and he's walking all bundled up. At the same time he would always walk the dog, I'd start seeing him walking alone outside. And he was coming towards me, and I'm walking this way, and he's like, can I have a hug? I'm like, you're lucky I'm a nice stranger. Yes, of course you can have a hug. So, poor guy. He didn't come out for a while. We didn't see him socially for months after that because he was, I don't know, upset, let down, all the normal stuff, I guess. So, you always thought you were a dog person, and now you're a cat person. I don't know if I'm a dog person. We'll find out. But we're not getting a dog here. And we're not getting a dog with these boys, I don't think. So, we'll see. In my head, I wanted a cat that acted like a dog, that would be like happy to see you when you got home and jump up a little bit and get in your lap and be like, yeah, you're home. I'm happy we're home. You're home. I'm home. And the cats look at you like, did you bring anything to eat? They don't even look at you like, not even a hello, nothing. The cats are like put out. Well, you've seen the shorts. You know what they think of us. Lennox is almost a dog. I think you said that before, Jay. Some are a little more like that. Now, we got boys. Oscar and Bandit are both boys, but so. I can see that, Sandra. I'm prone to crying Jags myself. Like, I sort of get over something, and then for the next few months, bit by bit, get over it. And, I can't even imagine. I don't like to think about it, but I'm going to be upset. And, it's our goal of life. It's what happens. Cats don't live, the cat's not going to outlive me, probably. So, tabby boys tend to be kind of attached to people. Yeah, Bandit's a Maine Coon with a little bit of tabby in there. So, but he's Marks. He's decidedly Marks. He follows them all around the house. He's underfoot constantly, and Mark's mobility isn't all that it could be. He's like, I'm going to trip over the cat. I'm like, well, just walk slowly and you won't trip over the cat. Seems easy breezy, right? But, so. Oh, he adores MJ. Absolutely. But, when we first got a cat, it was mostly because Mark wanted one. And I was in the middle of a manic episode where I was like, sure, let's get a cat. And so we got Bandit. The episode subsided, and we kept the cat. But that was 2015. It was 10 years ago. 2015, spring of 2015 is when we picked him up. And he was 3 or 4 when we got him. They weren't sure. So Bandit's about 13, 14 now. Oscar, hard to tell. The vet couldn't tell. They're like, he's a small cat. He could be 3, he could be 10. We don't know. So, very helpful they were at the vet with that. Mm-hmm. Cheese pull? Not so much. When you have old pizza, the cheese doesn't pull. Unfortunately. I'm trying to like not be foodie booty and not spit in your face. Talking about crying Jags. So this isn't a real talk, but I'll tell you some of the real stuff. In the last, I don't know how many weeks, things have been kind of tough for me mentally. What's been happening outside of my normal, mood swings and whatever, is that I find if I get very, very, very anxious or very, very, very racy, I have to throw up. And so in the last, I don't know how long, it's been happening often during the week, usually before something stressful, not always, but always on an empty stomach. So of course I go to the doctor yesterday and they're going to run tests. I have to go get an ultrasound because she pressed on my liver gallbladder area and I almost hit her. I didn't think it hurt until she touched me. Then it hurt. Then I'm like, I wonder if my whole body feels like, it felt like a bruise. That's how it felt when she pushed on it. So she ordered an ultrasound and a bunch of blood work, as doctors do. We got talking about Ozempic and the other drugs. And she's like, you're too healthy on paper for anything like that anyway. She's like, you're about this weight, because my BMI is like 30.01 or something like that. So I fall in the range where I'd qualify. But insurance-wise, they're telling, unless you've got like heart disease or a couple hardcore things, insurance companies aren't wanting to put money up. People are having to get the generics or go on the sidelines and get off-label brands of it and stuff. So it's a bad time of year for mental health stuff. I think most people think that the winter is bad for depression, but spring is when a lot of people who were too depressed to hurt themselves get out of bed and can act on those awful thoughts they've been having for 4 months. So spring has been historically rough for me. The last few have been okay. But last time I was hospitalized, it was February. It was 2020. It was right before COVID. I was hospitalized. And I was only in like 4 days or so. So it either will turn out as I'm going to get checked, and then I had the psychiatrist this morning. So we did a Zoom, and I had to work. So I went into work, and I shut my office door and did a Zoom, and that's what it was. It was about half an hour long. And it wasn't with my PA, but it was with another one because it was a short notice appointment. And they changed the dose on one of my medications, which I never like, but I never want, and I wish it didn't need to happen, but something has to happen. So Mark wasn't on the channel. No, it was Smokey Steve. And Mark came later. And he had a ponytail, yes. If you go back into the archives, you will see Mark was a full-time chef with a ponytail who was only hit or miss on the channel. Well, thanks, CL. I appreciate it. We'll find out what it is. So I went and got those tests. We're going to see what's physical. If it's not, and it's related to my anxiety, then it's, what do they call it? Psychogenic vomiting disorder. Essentially meaning it's all in my head. Psychogenic, think, not psychosomatic. I'm actually feeling ill enough to do it, but it's not anything wrong. I don't have food poisoning. I don't have gas. I don't have reflux. It's my mind tricking my stomach into thinking, get into fight or flight, get into it now, be ready for disaster, and then, So, it's not ideal, but it's okay. I think it'll work out. Like, I'm not dying or anything, so as far as that, it's okay. Ooh, diverticulitis. My aunt has that. Uncomfortable, I don't think approaches it, as far as describing the experience. But I'll have to wait and see. I did, as far as weight goes, she put me on the scale and I was like, can we talk about, weight and options? And they referred me for nutrition counseling if I'm interested. So, oh yeah, even if it's psychosomatic, whatever's causing it, I'm having to start carrying bags with me like a damn dog in case I have an accident. I was going to work a couple weeks ago. I had a big presentation. I had to be in Allentown from Scranton. It's about an hour and a half drive. And I had to leave at like 6 in the morning. And I met a coworker at the office and we're getting in the company car and we're getting ready to go. And I'm like, if you'll excuse me for 1 second. And I went and go duck behind a pickup truck and yacked. It wasn't just coffee and whatever. And then came back and we're talking. She's like, "Are you sure you can go?" I'm like, "I can't not go. This is just how it is. This is just what it is for now." So hold on one more second. Go back. Do what I need to do again. And then we were on for the rest of the day. And it was okay. Other times I've been home watching wrestling. And all of a sudden it feels like on very short notice I'm going to be sick. So we're going to find out what's causing it. I'm always in favor of more anti-anxiety techniques and tools. I am still seeing my therapist. I see him in a couple weeks. So, well, it's just what goes. I'm not in any level of pain, so better than vomiting than Chantal's. Yeah, I wouldn't want to shit myself by accident. Wouldn't want that to happen. We're not quite there yet. I'm in my 40s, and I'm appreciative it's not my reality right now. But down the line, you never know. So, and I always wonder, they said a couple of things. If it's not in my head, it could be, it's right under the it could be gallstones causing just general nausea and pain and fatigue. That was really it. They didn't say too much else. Could be an ulcer underneath, and I did have an ulcer right in that area when I was 10. I would say I was young, 10 or 11, and I had an ulcer, so it was right there over that. But that used to hurt when I would eat, and it would make me sick when I would eat because it burned. It was a hole in my stomach. This is not the same sort of thing. So, like I said, not in any pain. I can still do most everything I need to do. I have to do it a little differently till we sort it out. And then I have to start tonight with an increased dose of my mood stabilizer. I take Lamictal as the mood stabilizer. And they inched up the dose on that. They don't seem to want to do it too quickly. And, well, it's probably not safe to do it too quickly anyway. So they're inching it up. And then we'll see how I feel. I'm at the highest dose I can take for the antidepressant I take. So if I wanted to seek more assistance, I'd have to completely change drugs from the drug I've been taking for the last 8 years. Push comes to shove, sure, but not if I can avoid it. And the other med is an antipsychotic, Latuda, and that makes me feel dopey at certain doses. So I didn't want to play with that either. So we met in the middle about what to do medically. And I'm going to send my blood work over to the shrink after I get it from, or it's fasting. The damn ultrasound is fasting too, and it's at 1 PM on Sunday. So I thought, we'll make it on the weekend to be easy breezy. We won't have to miss work. Yeah, but Sunday I'm going to be all lubed up and getting hard things pressed into me. Get it out of the gutter. This goes back like so far though. I remember telling you guys, I remember being a kid and I hated Mrs. Connor, my second grade teacher, and I'd get up every day and I'd get sick and then go to school. And the next day the same thing. There was like not much of a remission to it. And I was a kid. It's hard to tell what's wrong with kids, and I was an emotional kid and whatever. So I oddly got invited to go spend time with people in real life Saturday. How about that? Do you have any fun plans? Because depending on the people, it could be museum, it could be leather bar, it could be a lot of different places. So there's not a lot of places to hang out in this area if you're gay and single, unless you go to gay bars or gay 12-step meetings. There's really not too many other places people congregate. Focused Freebird. Hello in Phoenix. Hope all's well with you too. We're just eating and bullshitting. Usual. Nothing fancy. You got confused with a millennial, so okay. That's okay. I'm probably somewhere in the 13 stepping exactly. I have a thought or two about 12-step things, and okay. We're off me, I'm probably fine. We watch Foodie Beauty here, and I get updates usually from like a couple viewers, and they'll say, did you see this for that part? And they'll send me written stuff and then refer to the videos of where to look. So when we do a Foodie video, I have a lot of the information already set to go. That's been sent to me. So 12 steps kind of religious. I mean, they say it's not religious, but they close with the Our Father. So I don't know. It's got a religious slant to it. Definitely. The word God appears a lot in a program that isn't focused on God necessarily. But people tell themselves whatever they need to. Oh, my God is this, my God is that. You know, whatever you need. As long as you stop drinking yourself to death, I don't give a what the fuck you think your higher power is. So, Countess Markovitz, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Thank you for joining us. Pull up some cold pizza if you must. So we watch Foodie and that stuff. And I know there's other reactors. And like I was just saying, we're referencing Milk Tea. She has her own kind of style and her own sort of way of doing it also. And I like her a lot. The other couple of reactors I watch, one of them was Gorlick Bread. And Gorlick Bread isn't the hugest channel. He's 18,000 subs. So he's not Amberlynn Reed. He's not Amberlynn Reed. He's not French Fried Girl or Yaba or anything. But he has a pretty consistent following. He has some nice, short, concise videos. He rarely uses audio of her or video, which is refreshing. I try to emulate that when we've done ours and not do that either. But he's having a disagreement with another reactor right now. And all I could hear was smug. And smug to me means 12-step man. I've known so many guys from 12-step meetings who are just smug bastards. They're like, you should be grateful that I'm going to take the time to tell you about this. Or they'll tell you about humility and how humble they are and spend 30 minutes detailing their humility. Shit ain't humble. Religious is fine where people are doing religion. You know, the 12-step rooms, it can be, it cannot be. It kind of depends on that. Well, yeah, I'm good. I'm easy breezy. I'd probably be to a mosque before Chantal's to her next one. So, Gorlick has I'm not saying he has a history of addiction. Like, no, I don't know. I don't care. It's none of my business. But his way of speaking and his way of condescending when he likes to condescend is very smug. It's very off-putting. And he's had this long going for a few days thing with Yo Mama. And it's, I don't know. There's not, the only thing less exciting than Chantal is people who talk about Chantal fighting with each other. Like, it just seems like not as much of an interesting thing for me. So, that's that. Insightful, though, and kind of smug. I don't often disagree with a lot of what he says, but yeah, the snark. But, yeah, the fighting back and forth. I'm like, way to tarnish your reputation as a class. No one ever accused him of being a class act, but if he ever thought he was, no. That guy you described in the 12-step rooms who would always brag, but no one liked him. Exactly. They'd raise their hand. I'd like to share something from the book. And then read for 10 minutes. And then want to hear feedback about them. 12-step meetings are where you can congregate with other people who have a desire to stop drinking or using. But any of that extra shit is extra. You know, take what you need, leave the rest. If you leave sober, you're good. But I would say Gorlick should call his sponsor. Why do you want to bet he's the guy who has no sponsor but all the answers? How many of those have you met? I do my thing my own way. You see, and then they launch into some bullshit. So, not that I'm saying any of that back stuff is true about Gorlick Bread, I don't know, but the tone he takes when he's upset with another person and he gets condescending is so triggering. It doesn't trigger me to do anything other than go, ugh, but it triggers that at least. So, I'd suspect gambling addiction if I had to speculate. He does deal in money. And a lot of what he talks about on his channel when he's doing stuff like that is about, I think he likes to do baseball cards, and he had like a full-time job, and now he's able to stitch together working a little easier than he used to. Garlic thinks he's more charismatic than he is, and talk about poor grammar, it shows lack of education. Yeah, I think he thinks he's very fetching. You know, that anybody would kill to huddle around his cool flame. And if you asked him to his face, he would say, of course not. No, I don't care. it takes any of us a little bit of ego to have a channel. You have to have a little bit of ego to say, I'm going to put myself on there and see if anyone's even interested in what I have to say. So, I'm sorry, Christine. I put up a community post around 3 or 4. That was the best I could do. On a Thursday when Mark can't be here for them, he'll make the thumbnail for the video, the thumbnail for the replay, and the picture for the community post. I think he probably has a personality disorder. We're not here to diagnose. No, of course not. I'm not a diagnosing professional at all. But I know men. I've seen a few. And I'm a man myself. So they've been sloppy with notifications. They have been. I'll get a notification to myself of a thing I put up 4 hours earlier. So I'm not sure exactly how that shakes down, but yeah, but Gorlick, I really liked Gorlick for keeping up with it. But this latest back and forth he's having with Yo Mama is just really unattractive. Just really unattractive. It doesn't highlight his best qualities, whatever they are. It can't be these. So it's not showing him off very well. And it's hard to have a channel about another person where you criticize their character a lot and you criticize their choices a lot. And I do too. It's Booty Beauty, for Christ's sake. But when you pick on that and then have to pull back and say, well, people shouldn't pick at me that way. I'm different. I'm evolved. I don't know. I think most of us are just effed up and doing our best. What else can you do, you know? But yeah, haven't watched him as much, so just my normal ones. I have a couple that I stay in touch with. You guys know Mare on the channel. She keeps me in the loop with a lot of that stuff. So, yes, notifications over and over are not helpful. Oh yeah, he's a real sack of crap himself, but, you know, like, who wins when two smug fucks sit there and fight with each other? The rest of us. So, T-Girl, how are you, dear? It has been a while. I was too. He was so... He had such a good time. He talked about it so much when he got back. He had such a good time, you know, and looking forward to it. And they said they're going to drag me next year, and we'll see. Drag might be the word. You might have to pull me kicking and screaming. If I start walking now, I won't have to get on a plane. Oh, it's fine, Christine. Mark's the kind of friend to other people, I've found, because I've seen him amongst his other friends, and then he's friends with me. He makes the kind of friendships where you can fall out of touch for, I mean, I guess it could be years, but even just a few weeks, and then pick up like time hadn't gone by. And there's no hard feelings, and there's no, why did we stop talking? Because every time I stop talking to somebody for a period of time, in my head, I start to write this script of, we must have had a falling out. Why aren't they calling me? When it was probably something like losing track of time and scheduling. But all of a sudden it seems like, well, I must have been mad about something to not have talked to them for this long. And convince yourself you're pissed. Stupid. But only so much we can do. Gorlick. Yeah, I like milk tea, so I got nothing to say about her except I like her. Liked her background, obviously, but I've always liked her. She's had a reputation, as we have when we were doing more of those videos, as being quote-unquote the nice ones, or some of the nice ones. I'd say fair. I wouldn't say I'm particularly nice to Chantal when I make videos about her. But I don't sit here and spend 20 minutes making fat jokes either. You know what I mean? Like, that's not interesting. You're getting ready for spring. We're getting an ice storm. See, we're getting some cold weather too, Christine. We had snow yesterday, so we'll see. Grateful, hello. It is hard. I know those people, Sandra, who have every friend they ever made from high school all the way back. I don't know. Thank you, Esther. Thanks for saying I'm great. I'm feeling pretty great. But yeah, I was always rough. I have like the best friend from grade school and high school. And then the one from college, and then the other one who I was sort of on again, off again in my head dating. Of course, we weren't, but in my head we were. So he holds a more special place in my heart than I think I probably hold in his, but he's in the lineup. And you know, as we're older, Mark's my friend. My parents are more friends than parents now that I'm not like as sick and needy as I was in my 20s and half my 30s. So it's a little bit nicer to just hang out and BS with them and what's going on with you and that kind of stuff. So it's different. It's changed as I got older. I've heard people get closer to their siblings as they get older, as family members kind of move on, but I'm sure that's not true for everybody. I can see it being true for me. I get along with my brother and sister, but um, don't know that I'll be moving in with them anytime soon. I could go be a live-in nanny, like an uncle, because my brother's got, what are they, 12, 8, and 5 or something like that? All boys. And he was home teaching them during COVID, homeschooling, because his wife has a profession and she works out of the house, and his profession doesn't require him to work out of the house. So he got to teach 3 small children. Exciting times for him. No, 12 ain't this, yeah. It does look like spring exploded, didn't it? If you saw, Mark made last night a wreath with a bunny sticking through it, which I didn't see him putting it together. I didn't see the edited video because it went up so late. I just put it up and went to bed. But I look at the front door and we have this giant wreath with a bunny ass sticking out of it. I'm like, wow. I must have been really distracted when you were putting that together because I think I would have remembered that bunny butt wreath. Yeah. Hey, Kathy, how are you? How are you? How are you? We're just doing our thing here. You know. So yeah, what were the couple things I wanted to touch on? Mental health, we did. Garlic bread, I did. The kitty cat, mentioned him. Otherwise, it's just been nice. I like when there's not that much stuff going on and crazy. You know, I was talking to the fill-in psychiatrist or the PA that works at my psychiatrist's office, and she always asks me every session. My own asks me, what do you have looking forward to in the next few months? What do you have coming up to look forward to? And often I can't think of anything. Now we'll plan a little weekend getaway here or there sometimes to put something on the radar, or something to save for and do, but I don't know. Are your cats having feelings now that it's spring? Because ours are both clipped and fixed and everything, but there's some girls outside singing in the yard. Now they kind of all, there's not an infestation, it's not feral, and we don't feed the cats, but they do travel their way through here and there. So I don't know. And the upstairs neighbor, after Charlie passed, was throwing hot dog buns out the window, like whole, like a pack of 8, 4 stuck together. And there was a squirrel dragging all 4 of these hot dog buns stuck together across the garden. It was like that rat with the piece of pizza in the New York subway, dragging the whole thing. Some days are just like that. Some days are just like that, I guess. So goes. Hey, Patrick. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, well, we're still picking at it. It was pizza. Now it's pieces. Because I didn't want all the crust, and I was just nibbling on pretzels and stuff. Some animal poops outside your door. I don't know. We don't have any random animals that poop around here, luckily. But, I'm just happy if our own guys go. Mark was telling me a story when our first apartment is where he met Oscar. Oscar just wandered into the yard and kept following Mark around. Then Mark named him and we had him and we started feeding him and looking after him and taking care of him. But when he first showed up, he was just some rando stranger cat. But Mark had noticed that he was constipated. So Mark would go out and dig in the garden and play. Well, Oscar would go out like it was his own litter box and dig and play. And Mark noticed he was digging, but he wasn't able to use the restroom. He wasn't able to go. So he treated him with a little bit of olive oil, and his constipation was relieved. So like I said, I'm happy that Mark has some of the life experience and home remedy stuff with cats, because I don't know. On the side of caution, I would probably be like, oh, let's go to the vet and spend $700 to find out they're constipated. So local wildlife are Twitter pated. I can tell spring's coming by the courtship going on. Yeah, the world's coming back alive up here in the north. In the northern hemisphere. Things are coming back to reality. Except for this weekend's icy weather that we're going to be having. And the snow yesterday. Otherwise, we should be okay. But and then we're already into April, and then Easter, and then it's May, and it's Memorial Day, and then it's the 4th of July, and then it's my birthday, and then it's Labor Day, and then it's Christmas again. They just go. The time just goes. So, it's 55 where you are now? I think it's 48, 49, something like that. 77 sounds pretty nice, I have to say. Exactly, Jay, because then it's going to be over the weekend. Like Christine said, we're going to get an ice storm. We're going to get weather then. So, whatever. I only have somewhere to be on Sunday at 1. That's it. So as long as I can get there, let it snow. Let it snow, let it snow. Job ruined center. It's stressful. Yeah. I have something to look forward to. April 19th, sun is coming. Fantastic. It's great. It is. It is a good thing to have something to look forward to. I think it was a good suggestion they gave me. I should carve something out to do. And try not to have it be just like food or something. Like try to have an experience of some sort or go do something. I've got family I can visit in a few different places and friends. We just haven't broken in the car yet, as far as interstate driving, really. Oh, that is right when they're moving in. Well, hopefully it'll be okay. Maybe even if it slows them down, hopefully it won't mess up anything. Hopefully. Your dad booked brunch with... I love it. I love it. I think that's great. I would be there with bells on. Absolutely. I'm all for that. People way too old to be getting their picture with Santa, that kind of thing. I don't believe in age appropriate across the board, whether it's behavior or clothing choice or kind of car you drive. I don't believe in age appropriate. So definitely do take some pictures. I'm sure there'll be some pastel inspirations, it being Easter and everything. They don't do much around here for Easter. At Christmas they have the toy drives and stuff like that, but Thanksgiving they have the food drives. But for Easter, it's a Christian holiday, but it's not like everybody. Like I don't get any time off at work because it's not a national holiday. It's a Christian religious holiday. So it's like Easter is Easter, and then the next day I have to go back anyway on Monday. So Glasgow Gangsta, hello, hello. Older folks who dye their hair wild colors, I love it if I see a woman with a full head of gray hair and a big fucking streak of bright red in the front. It says, yeah, I'm old. Fuck you. That's the vibe I get from that. I always liked it. We took Mom. We all went to the beach for family vacation. First one ever that we took as a family. And it was only about 2016, I would say. And my mom has salt pepper hair. It's more salt as the years have gone on. And we put a blue streak in the front. And she was like, well, for vacation, I'll wear it. And it looked good. Streak of teal and silver looks good. Teal and gray looks good, I would say. She's a good flute player. Now, there's an instrument you don't hear about a lot. I don't know many flautists. You already know Halloween and Smokeysteveandmarc. Oh, God, yeah. Well, we like that, too. I mean, that's more of an event, kind of. That's more of a season, really, because Mark likes Halloween, and I like Halloween. I like the decorations. I like the vibe. I like cold, chilly nights and crispy fire smells and hot chocolate and all that happy crap. So I love Halloween and the fall and that kind of thing. I haven't been on a hayride in a very long time. Those haunted hayride type things. I haven't been on one of them in forever. We did the Friday the 13th tour a couple of years ago, which was not bad. It was not bad. I should have worn another coat, but it was not bad either. So, but yeah, other than Easter coming up, that's about it. Planting is coming up. There's seedlings all over the house. Every room that doesn't have a plant has seedlings growing in it with a light over them. They're in the bathroom. They're in the kitchen. They're everywhere. And he's just getting ready in time to put it all outside. There's some bulbs that he had out that he had left some coverage over, some leaves over the top of it in the front yard. And the neighbor, trying to be a nice guy, raked the whole yard. Mark's like, hey, go back. I think it's going to be all the usuals this year, Jay. Like, he's going to be moving some things and replanting. Like, we're going to get more stuff that grows in the shade, because last year he was having a hard time finding the light. You know, we had the mobile gardens in the tubs that you could like move around the yard to try to, you know, catch the light with it. But things that he was growing in the front yard or on the side of the house weren't really taking. They were growing pygmy. They were small and they weren't really healthy looking. Last year we did good with tomatoes. I'm big on the tomato powder and preserving it, so we're just gonna take all we can get. Every time I go to work and someone's got a bag of tomatoes, because everyone tries to give them away, I'll take them and bring them home with. Otherwise, you know, we don't get a whole lot of other stuff out of the garden. A handful of green beans here and there if we grow them. Celery was very good. That I dried and made homemade celery powder from the garden celery, which is really strong compared to the celery you get like elsewhere. So I made powdered mirepoix. I had powdered dried onion and then ground them all together. We tried to grow cabbage, Jay. Thanks for bringing up an old wound. We tried to grow cabbage, and we planted 4 in the first garden, and 3 were gone. Gone. Whatever's out there loves them. Woodchucks, I'm not sure. But we haven't been able to keep one alive long enough to grow. I like cauliflower, and I like broccoli and other cruciferous things in the garden. But try is the thing. Garden and bought a farm share. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Get somebody else to do the work. I can just go and look at it. We have a community garden up the street, but I don't know how you get like in on that. Like who oversees it and how do you get your plot and whatever, because it's just around the corner. Scranton has a few little revitalization projects in different neighborhoods, and community gardens were one of the things they were doing. So we shall see. We shall see. But wow, I actually ate. I'm surprised. I usually just kind of pick at it. But today was a long day. It's been a long week, which required pizza. Required pizza. You have to understand. I had to. Food people and insecurities. That's a good thing. I love that when they try to do, because we have a lot of out here, like a lot of farm to table, like roadside stands where you get corn and tomatoes and all cucumbers and all sorts of stuff. And because there's so much of it and it goes bad, they bring, to the food kitchens. They bring it to the food pantries. My mother works for a nonprofit and they have the food pantry and they'll get tons. When you think food pantry, you think canned goods, dry goods, but they have meat and produce every so often and it comes from the farms, right, fresh. It's not always the prettiest carrots. Sometimes they look like they're for horses, but everything's good. Everything's clean. It's all organic. It's all local. I mean, it's all the stuff you would want. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. The corn they grow around here is pretty much for cows. They don't grow corn around here to eat. So you can get roadside corn, but it's probably in someone's backyard. We grew corn one year more successfully than I think I've seen it grown other places. We had that in the yard first couple of years. The ears of corn we got were about this big. Like, my hands aren't that big, like that big. And they were tasty and very sweet, but, they were also tiny. The sweet corn here, it can be really good. I could see that. You're in the Midwest. You're in corn country. In my head, everything west of Pittsburgh and east of the Rockies is a cornfield. That's about it. The only experience I had leaving Pennsylvania going west, everything was cornfields. We were going through Ohio and Indiana and stuff like that. Oh, absolutely, right from the farm. No, totally. I get you, Jay. I know. But it's such a great way to connect local with local. You know, here's local surplus, here's local need, you know. See how they all turn out, the garden dreams. Every year is a gamble, Christine. You don't know. I don't know. Mark's out there for hours putting all this work in, and I go outside, I'm like, oh, you know. I was like, I hope this works out for him because it's a lot of work to have, unfortunately, some years nothing happen. So yeah. Madison has a lot of do-gooders. Those sinful cities and those do-gooders. Retired hippies and such. When I think of Wisconsin, I don't think backwards. When I think Michigan or Illinois, like I don't think of like a backwards hick place. I think cheese when I think Wisconsin. It reminds me politically of Pennsylvania. It's kind of right on the cusp of whatever. You know, there's plenty of safe places and big cities and stuff to do, but there's also plenty of places to put up a sign and say, get out or I'll shoot you. So there's room for all of us here in our very purple state of Pennsylvania. And I would think in Wisconsin, Michigan, it might be similar, not the same, but similar, especially with the stark urban-rural divide that happens. So it's just such a different way of living for people, but the bulk of the people live in cities. The bulk of the state is covered with country. So you're having cheese. Cheese is good, Shauna. Cheese is the devil's plaything, you know. So we have a lot of those. Upstate New York has all those little retired hippie commune type places. If you go up towards like Woodstock, which is only like 2 hours from here into New York, the whole town next to it, New Paltz, it's all very, very forward thinking. Like they were forward thinking before the rest of us even approached being open-minded. Like they just started in the 60s. They were old hippies and they just stayed as sweet as they were. Yeah, the Finger Lakes going up that way. A lot of little tucked away intentional communities, and they're not like spooky little small towns. They're like self-sufficient little small towns. Like I had a girlfriend whose aunt lived up in New Paltz, and like her husband was the plumber, the town plumber. That's what he did. This other person baked all the bread for town. This other person did all. So like everyone had their roles, and there was no shame or dignity in any of them. It's just this is what I do for the town I live in, which I thought was pretty cool. And it was gorgeous. Upstate New York, there's parts that are gorgeous. Not that Pennsylvania doesn't have its moments. The coal waste kind of takes away the, you know, the love of it, sort of. I forgot. I ordered cat food and a case of soda. And it looks like it just got here. It's on the porch, it'll be fine. But, yeah. I don't know. Anyone have any fun plans for the rest of the day or night? Mine is going to be casual. I'm going to do some chores, put some soda in the fridge, feed the cats, and just be easy. And tomorrow I have to be up and ready for work, but I don't have to be there. So that's what we got. New York tends to be quiet about their politics most. That's the thing. I think it's the let you do you part is the most. It's the part I appreciate most. I mean, people's is people's. We're all in this together, whether we like it or not. So we might as well try to figure something out. But, well, folks, I've been picking at this pizza for so long. Husband's birthday cheesecake will be... Ooh, cheesecake. Birthday cheesecake. What makes it the... I mean, I'm guessing it's his birthday. Is there anything special about the cheesecake? Does it have... let's say a special topping or a certain brand of cream cheese? Like what makes it the signature? I was never a dessert person. Then you marry a chef and boo, editing to do. Boo, hiss is right. Mark does the editing. I'm just the face. He does the rest of the stuff. But mini chocolate chip cheesecake. He likes it better than cake. Good. Well, Iron Chef, then he did well. I know people that like pie. I was watching a few of those shows. They had wedding pie instead of wedding cake because nobody liked cake and everyone liked pie. It makes sense, I guess. We didn't have a groom's cake, I don't think. I wanted to have Cookie Puss as the groom's cake. we ended up having cupcakes for our spread at the wedding. So, which was a lot more casual, a lot easier. It's easier than slicing up cake and shoving it in bags and telling people to sleep on it. Like, just here's a cupcake, have fun. So, yes, we'll be over soon, Jamie. Oh yeah, just playing with it. Desserts are a fun thing to play with. I'm gonna be making some cinnamon rolls, which I consider a dessert, tonight. I'll make a shorter video, not a short, but a shorter video. It's basically just doctored up canned cinnamon rolls, but I saw a video of a woman doing it just a couple months ago, and I remade it, and it was delicious. I mean, they were like Cinnabon tasting cinnamon rolls, and it was just the cheapy, great value brand that you get in the store for $2, but with the right doctoring and love, they were delicious. So I'm gonna make half a can of those. So I'm not gonna make 8, I'll make 4. And then that's the cooking project we got. I made Mark his applesauce for the week, so he's good. And I have some tomatoes that are dried but not ground. Got to work on that. But that's all my little projects that I got for the night. Otherwise, like I said, we're going to take it easy. I'm going to do my chores, have my soda, feed the cats, and take it easy. So thank you all for joining me tonight. It was so nice to have, this is probably the biggest crowd we've had where it's just me. And we didn't necessarily talk mad shit. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. It was the end of a long day for me, and it was nice to have some folks to sit down and talk with. So much appreciated, much appreciated. Thanks all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts at some point when we have new videos and when we go live. We're on social media. All our contact info is listed below as well. Thank you from me. Thank you from Mark. And y'all look after yourselves, okay? Have a good night. Thumbs up on your way out in case you forgot on the way in. All right. Bye.